Hi everyone, welcome to Dusty Shop Collectibles. Here today on the Ffestiniog Railway for a tour of the Boston Lodge Works. I've had this on my bucket list for many years. It's only recently that they've opened it up to the public. Memorial here to to all those people that have put their backs into bringing the railway back to life. Just on the top of the hill overlooking Boston Lodge. I've just had a speech about the guy that built the Cobb, which is the railway that links Boston Lodge back to Portmaddock. A minute ago we were up the hill there looking out over Boston Lodge, and we're just coming into this new build, or new building should I say, and this is where the wagons, the slate wagons, are to be were restored and will now be restored. So back in the 1800s this shed was here. This is where they repaired the wagons, and this is obviously a new building that they've put on the site. I should say I'm here with Will, little Dusty.
Realising they had all this sand over there.
Right, so this building here, built 10 years after the railway was built. This is a smithy, so blacksmiths and casting in here. 4 chimneys on the top connected to the forges, but let's go in and see what's inside.
The age of this building. So on the left hand side here we have a 2-ton slate wagon, and if we come just over here, this is a 3-ton slate wagon, currently going through construction and restoration. Now they've done casting and forging inside this building. You can see the 4 furnaces. We've got 2 just at the back, just over there. There was one which you can no longer see in the corner. And just in front of me here, this is what we call the old tyre oven. Now this building would have...
I'm loving the thanks. Thanks. So we just had a look inside the workshops, and unfortunately it's the one part that I couldn't actually film. They don't like us any photography in and around the workshops, but they had a mammoth lathe in there with a set of wheels being turned. Absolutely amazing to see. Just looking here at the loco that brought us across this morning. Just creeping into the yard, and in the background there one of the garrets off the Welsh Highland Railway. James Spooner there, and Linda. You can see just in light steam, it's been on out on the rails today, and just been brought back in. So this is the running shed where they keep the engines. James Spooner being the newest build fairly.
Ideally, we'll be using lithium iron phosphate prismatic cells because they improve safety.
There's a Welsh pony, one of the earlier locos. And Esther.
It's so nice when she's all painted up back in Kent. Just come all this way, so basically she's going to Kent. It's going to be
Just admiring the lining on the tender here, and just here's Hugh Napier. So I did record a video about the locos at Penryn, and Hugh Napier featured in there, and also, as I said, Nesta, just around the other side here. Just going past, look at this outside.
Different Garrett, same driver.
Although Nesta is quite rusty, it shows a great example of leaf spring suspension, which is basically the suspension of locomotives. It uses this point, the suspension moves up and down, which is it's located on every locomotive, and it's still used in some large car brands today. I believe it's Mercedes that still uses leaf spring suspension, and it's a great piece of engineering. I love it. Here's some more examples of the leaf spring suspension. This on, I'm not even going to attempt to say that name because I'll butcher it. Leaf spring suspension there. Then on Hugh Napier, I think that's how you say it. There's more leaf spring suspension and dual subscription. This Bayo Garrett's very interesting because there's two bogies there and there that articulate as the main body with the tank does not have any wheels underneath. So that actually stays, and as these articulate, it does the same job. It's very interesting. Even in this huge Garrett, the two bogies, it still has the leaf spring suspension just there. You can see it. Although my love for leaf spring suspension, I must say, this diesel, it does not use leaf spring suspension, which is a shame, but still very nice locomotive. Right here is a turntable, where up that way in the private property area, just at the top, there was a garage built on one of these. So instead of having to reverse his car out, move out, he'd just spin the garage around the turntable and just drive out forwards. It never worked though. It was a good theory, but it didn't work in practice.
This is known as the small loco shed, and yeah, wonderful locos in here. I love this Hugh Napier. Keep coming back and looking at it, but just going to take you outside. There's the Garrett and the Welsh Highland Railway, just down the fire drop. Making our way down to the heritage shed. I don't know if the wind's being picked up by my microphone. The Vale of Ffestiniog, usually used for the first train of the day. Alright, you've got Taliesin, another loco that Roundhouse has definitely done. But at the moment without its boiler, so it's sitting in there without its boiler. And yeah, there's some bits of it all around. Up North Castle.
So what's the difference between a reed engine and
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, one of the open carriage sheds here apparently was extended and the roof made higher to allow the Garretts to go in there from the Welsh Highland Railway. Golf in a minute.
yeah, this is one of the original railways, Princess. The other one, I believe it's Prince, is being maintained somewhere, but this railway, oh look at its condition, it looks amazing. It's inside there. Actually really nice.
And it's effectively in as storage condition. It's protected as it's and obviously being in here it's much more.
That's one of the original four different stages of the quarryman, so they were carrying the quarryman up, so that was the early one,
That's the later
one's
one.
open, one's closed. Now got a green cycle.
Well, we're just leaving Boston Lodge. Absolutely fascinating. I've just been told this is only the second week of these tours, so something still quite new, quite fresh. And we come back to Lilia and train back to Portsmouth Harbour. Okay. Thank you. it's a place I've always wanted to visit, and Boston Lodge has never been open to the public, and just recently, as I found out 2 weeks ago, started doing these tours around there, and saw it come up and had to book myself on there. Absolutely fantastic to walk around. The locos, they're all pretty good, just a shame not to be able to go in the workshop. I would have liked to have actually seen some of the locos sort of steaming down from the day. We did see them in the distance, obviously had a clear shot of the Garrett, but there's a few of the others that were likely to come through. But there's also a few of the other trains there that were finishing the day service. So yeah, pretty good. Will, what do you reckon? Any good?
I really actually enjoyed Boston Lodge. There's a bunch of locomotives there that really showed the difference in engineering. There was a Princess from 1863 all the way up to newer diesel trains, and I thought that was just amazing.
No, good stuff. Yeah, so hats off to the Ffestiniog. They've done a really good job putting on these tours, and I highly recommend, if you can come up here, have a look around Boston Lodge. Anyway, with that, well, it's the following day and I've had time to sort of reflect on the tour around Boston Lodge a little bit. So let's just talk about the tour. So £27, quite an expensive tour. Now, have to remember that Boston Lodge hasn't been accessible to the public ever, as far as I'm aware. You know, so to actually get in there is a real privilege. Was it worth £27? I think so. I mean, the fact that we took a steam engine across the Cobb to get into the works, you know, I mean, that's not a cheap thing for the railway to put on. So that was all included in the cost. On arriving, we exited at the Boston Lodge halt, then made our way through into the buildings. Fascinating to see inside the buildings, and there's so much heritage and history just on the walls, you know, all the dirt and grime on the walls of all those years of engine manufacture and repair in there. Fascinating to see the new builds in there, as in the new buildings, the wagon works that they're putting back up underneath the rock face. Absolutely, yeah, it looks like there's a lot of work going on there. And then great to walk around the locos. Really pleased to see Hugh Napier in there, having done so much reading about it when I did the Penryn video. The one thing I would say that was a bit disappointing, wasn't able to film around the workshops. Now I fully understand that, because obviously confidential work's going on there, new engine builds, all kinds of things, but it was one of the key parts of the tour. And also, you know, not being able to sort of access into the engine sheds and get close up to some of the working engines was a bit of a shame, but I understand, you know, health and safety does come into these things. It was a very oily floor. On the subject of health and safety, you know, the railway took the health and safety very, very seriously, possibly a little bit too much, but you know, I do understand it's a working yard, and you know, to have people walking around in there is a privilege, and obviously, you know, there's no question you follow the railway's rules. Would I do the tour again? Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've been travelling on this railway now for over 40 years. At school we were doing projects, and my project was on the Ffestiniog Railway. I mean, I've loved the place to bits, and I've always wanted to go in Boston Lodge. Now, to go back on a second tour, I mean, yeah, I've seen inside the buildings and everything, but with all the loco movements that are going on in there, I think hopefully as the tour matures, let's say, because this is only the second week of it, you know, there'll be a little bit more access to seeing the trains sort of moving around in the yard. At the moment, we've very much kept at a distance from the locos, and as I said, understandably, but it would be nice to, you know, get up a little bit closer to some of the engines, and especially at the end of the day when they're all coming in and sort of being, you know, dropping the fires and all that kind of thing. So hopefully as the tour matures, you know, that access will become a little bit better. But anyway, I mean, I would highly recommend it if you are in the area. Bit expensive, but I think worth it. If you're a railway enthusiast, then why not come and have a look around Boston Lodge, something new. There's also a second tour, which is how a steam train works. Obviously I'm not going to do that one, but you know, there is two new tours. They don't run every day of the week, so do check the calendar, and obviously they only run in the peak season at the moment, so but all very new. So anyway, I just thought I'd add this little piece on there, and I'm going to go back to the video that I filmed, closing video that I filmed yesterday. I just wanted to be a bit more thorough than I was after a long day travelling around Wales yesterday. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and as always, check out the channel, there's plenty on there. And with that, we'll leave this one there, and I'll say thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, thank you.